Oh, murder, that's you?
I'm me. I do what I want and I move how I want, cause I'm me. And I'm not gonna act like I'm anyone else, cause I'm me. The one that impressed you, the one that's the best, that's me. I'm me. I do what I want and I move how I want, cause I'm me. And I'm not gonna act like I'm anyone else, cause I'm me. The one that impressed you, the one that's the best, that's me. I'm me. Can't associate with no fools. I'm my own version of cool. I'm brave and I'm bold. All that hating is getting old. They know they can't compete. They know they ain't like me. I know that I'm worth it. I know I got a purpose. I'm me. I do what I want and I move how I want, cause I'm me. And I'm not gonna act like I'm anyone else, cause I'm me. The one that impressed you, the one that's the best, that's me.
You are now tuned in to Radical Radio.
I'm my own version of cool. All that hate is getting old. They know they ain't like me. I know that I'm worth it. I know I got a purpose. I'm me.
That's radical. Living unapologetically bold and purposely authentic.
Yo, it is Monday night. Y'all already know it's radical time. I am your girl, Coach L. You are officially tuned in to the Radical Radio podcast. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I am so excited about this guest that I have in here, a local hero. He has so much going on right now. I'm going to get into it in a bit, but for now, again, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Radical Radio podcast. As always, I am your girl, Coach L. You already know I am a spiritual life coach. I am a brand founder of Radical Life Coaching, Radical Eyewear, as well as this dope platform, Radical Radio. As you heard, we have Amaya Nicole, the dopest 13-year-old lyricist that I know. She was able to grace me with this dope intro. You heard her say, listen, I know that I'm worth it. I know that I got a purpose because I'm me. I can't tell you how excited I get every time I hear this track. Not only is she the dopest 13-year-old lyricist that I know, the track is produced by my son, Omerta Beats. So listen, if you're in the music game and you need some beats, holla at your boy. He is on Facebook under the name Omerta Beats. So you could always get at him for some fresh beats. Again, it is Monday night. Y'all already know, family, it's time to get radical. It's time to talk and get a story out there. We want to hear all about the founder of Local Heroes, the founder of Suburban Kid. He's making his way in the entrepreneur scene, in the fashion scene. He's not new to this, y'all. He's true to this. He's been doing this for a very long time. So don't get it twisted. He did not just start, right? So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and read his bio, and we're going to get into this interview here. So we have Darnell D.K. King. He is a graduate of North Chicago Community High School, a former athlete, owner of Suburban Kid, formerly No Logo, co-founder and owner of the Local Heroes. That's in Vernon Hills, Illinois. Darnell King is a native of North Chicago, Illinois, and he began studying art at a young age, falling in love with drawing. He has always admired many genres of art, such as abstract, tattoos, graffiti, and cinematic. He has a fashion line that was featured in 3 GQ magazine editions during the summer of 2017. The vision for No Logo World is to change the way we as consumers think and function in fashion. Suburban Kid is a brainchild built from a love of being from a place that is special. He just wants to tell stories of people that come from places like he does, and also show that there is a side to being from the suburbs that everybody can relate to. Y'all go ahead. Y'all give it up. We got Mr. DK King in the building.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? What's up?
Yes, thank you for joining. I am so excited. I'm gonna just let y'all know this is family right here. I
Yes,
made
sir.
it a point. I said, I've been doing the podcast for a minute, and the more I look, I see, a lot of my family, they are moving forward in the business, in their own brands and pushing their own brands. And it does nothing more than make me smile big just to see them rocking, from youngsters on, we really have started to pave the way. And not only that, in our city, from where I'm from, I'm from Waukegan, Illinois. Darnell is from North Chicago, Illinois. It's about 10 minutes away from one another. So pretty much everybody in the town pretty much knows everybody. And it's a lot of great things coming out of Lake County. So with Suburban Kid, I want to go ahead and start first and foremost. You said that Suburban Kid, you wanted people to understand that, number one, you come from a special place, and you wanted people to understand that, it's talent from where we come from. So can you tell us about the start and the rise of Suburban Kid, how that started?
Yeah, definitely. So what's funny is, so yesterday was a year since the first time I launched anything with Suburban Kid. So Suburban Kid was actually just a collection that I released last year. That was just a part of my no logo brand, right? So I had been doing no logo for a little bit of time, and I was like, man, I want to be able to do something that speaks more to like where I'm from, to where I am, and where I being able to like show people who I am, right?
Right.
So Suburban Kid was a brainchild of that, right? And now we've been in this mall for about 7 or 8, well, it's about 8 months almost, a little bit closer to 9. And it was something that exploded over the summer. Like it is barely, I mean, it's basically a year old now,
Yes.
but it just exploded when I was able to bring it out to Vernon Hills. But the thing with it is that I've seen is that like with myself, I'm from North Chicago, which is a suburb. So
Uh-huh.
like my upbringing in the suburb is totally different than even some of these kids out in Vernon Hills or Mundelein, Round Lake, whatever it is that's close to here. But
Right.
everybody resonates with it. So as soon as they see that suburban kid, they're like, "Oh, that's me,"
Right.
right? And then like on a lot of the garments, I put a phrase. It's somewhere in a major city, there's a person acting like they're from the city, when they know that they're just a suburban kid. So
Yes.
that's one of those functions or one of those phrases. Like when I was growing up, anytime we would go anywhere, it would be like, "Oh, where you from?" "Oh, I'm from North Chicago." "Oh, you from Chicago?" I'd be
Right.
like,
Nah.
Nah." But after so long, you have to just go with it because you don't want to have to like explain yourself so much. But I think even within that, being from the suburb, being from my city, being from North Chicago, like we have a lot of pride from where we're from. So
Yes.
even when it comes to that, that's almost like somebody saying your name incorrectly and you're
Right.
not correcting them.
Yeah.
So with it, when it comes to being a suburban kid, I am like really like excited to be a suburban kid.
My sweet brother Doomsy.
That's
What's
my man
happening? What's
Dante.
happening? Look, we got a special guest appearance. Mr. Dante
What's
Brooks
up?
in the building.
Yeah, Dante just popped in real quick.
That's what's
Um,
up.
But yeah, no, I think with it being from the suburbs is a good thing. I think a lot of times we're looked at as underdogs, and just being like you said, being from the town, there's a ton of talent when it comes to
Yes.
being from where we're from. Like, I mean, I might get some flack for this, but from my experience when it comes to the area where we from,
Mhm.
I would say even when it comes to like New York, we have a lot that could be able to even rival a city like that. I think
Yeah.
with it, we just don't have the resources
There you go.
as much as they would in a place like a New York or like even like a California. The
Mhm.
resources and the infrastructure isn't there to be able to highlight these individuals.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, you got a lot of stuff. I know myself. I mean, Dante, Brad, one of our other partners, Lewis, and I mean, even if you take it down to like even like Carlos, like you have individuals that have a lot of different talent that
Yeah.
come from the same places that grew up in the same hoods,
Hmm.
but we don't have the outlets or the access to be able to get ourselves out there. So that's
Right.
kind of like the thing with Suburban Kid, and I just kind of just ran with it now.
And I love that because, like you said, it is true. We all have that same experience where somebody is going to ask you, where you from? And it's so easy to say Chicago, but I just made it a point. I'd be like, no, I'm from Waukegan. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I make it a point to say I'm from Waukegan because now if you look at it, unfortunately, it may not be the greatest news, but, people can hear Waukegan on the news sometimes. And I just think it's dope that we are starting to embrace where we're from. And we're not from Chicago. We are from a suburb. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I love that about you. Now, you have your own store. You guys are in Vernon Hills at the Hawthorne Mall. How
Mm-hmm.
did that come about? Because listen, I want to say I'm very, very proud of you. Congratulations to all of you guys that are a part of the
Thank you.
Local Heroes, because that actually paved the way. Y'all opened the door. Y'all really put a stamp on brick and mortar, and really
Mm-hmm.
opening up a store to showcase small business, Black owned, businesses,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So how did that come about? Tell us the story on how that started.
Well, with Local Heroes was a project that Dante and I kind of put together. It was his idea. He came to me like, "Hey, man, I want to put on pop-up shops,"
Mhm.
and then we kind of just got together and we ended up doing one. Is it 2 years ago now? So it's right before COVID, right?
Mhm.
So it was March 8th. And this was funny because that was the first day of my first brand, no logo. That was the
Right.
first day of me doing anything, right? So we
Mhm.
were we were gonna do these different pop-ups and stuff. So we did one back in March, and we had myself, Dante, we had Pint, he has a Stick Talk,
Yep.
and then we had Randall, he has a brand Regal Royal.
Mhm.
So all four of us got together. We did the pop-up, and the cool thing about having it being named Local Heroes is at the end of the pop-up, we would donate a portion of our profits that we made for that day. And we that day I think we did it to the Elite Striders, right?
Right.
And that day, I know for myself, I sold out, so I was able to be able to contribute a lot to them.
Right.
And from there, what we were gonna do is we were gonna do a pop-up like every other week, right?
Mhm.
And COVID shut us down.
Yeah.
So in the middle of that, I came up to Dante. I was like, "Yo, man, I know we've been talking about, doing this or doing that." And I was like, "Hey, we should be able to make a non-for-profit because we said we want to teach people how to do this, and we want to especially be able to teach kids how to do this
Right.
because I know if I could have been 14, 15 and starting to have these ideas of like entrepreneurship or even how to be able to start maybe a side hustle earlier, then
Mhm.
maybe I could have been a little further along in my journey so far. But even with it, I think I'm where I need to be right now and things
Right.
are going how they need to go.
Yeah.
But at 14, 13, being able to see these things and see people that look like me being able to do these things and they're tangible. It's not just like people that you see on television. It's
Right.
someone that's tangible that I can go and ask a question or
Mhm.
I could be able to go and say, "Hey man, I'm trying to do this. Can you help me?"
Mhm.
So we started a non-for-profit and that non-for-profit now is 2 years old. So that
Awesome.
was Local Heroes Workshop, and with
Okay.
it, our workshop or our non-for-profit is based on showing kids how to be able uh, to start a fashion brand from idea all the way through production to like finished garment, right?
Yes.
And everything in between that. So if it comes to the different styles of decoration, production, business stuff. So like even when it comes to like doing an LLC or being able to go get your business name, EIN, all of those things, these are the things that we were teaching or was going to start to teach within this non-for-profit that we started.
Yes.
So as we're doing this stuff, we get the non-for-profit going. Um, we start looking for a space for the non-for-profit.
Mhm.
And we're like, well, let's try to do this. Let's do this. We were going to try to buy a building. That didn't work. We were going to try to do this. That didn't work. So I was like, well, why don't we just like do like a shared space where if myself and you can be able to get maybe like two or three other guys to go in with us and we can have a creative space.
Yeah.
And it ended up turning into I made a connection with a guy named Stephen Brooks.
Okay.
Really, really nice guy. But he is the retail expert, right? So
Mhm.
he has a lot of different relationships with malls and things like that.
Mhm.
So I reached out to him like, hey man, we're looking for a space just to be able to have like a creative space, this and this. He was like, okay, I'll look around. I'll see if I can be able to find something. And he hit me back like, hey, I found you a spot, but it's in a mall. I'm like, oh man, what, like a mall? He was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's in a mall. I'm like, which mall? He's like, Vernon Hills. I was like, oh man, like I don't know, but like at least let's go look at it, right?
Right.
Because I think one time what we do a lot is we talk ourselves out of stuff before we even try it.
Yes.
And that's where we kind of were. We was like, oh man, a mall. And then I saw it, and I only saw the pictures. I hadn't even been here yet,
Right.
right? I saw the pictures. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Ah.
So, and I hadn't even told the guys that he found a space. So I hit everybody up like, yo, I found us a spot, but it's in a mall. Everybody like, a
Mhm.
mall? I'm like, just come see it with me and you'll be able to see what I see, right?
Yeah.
So we get here, me and Dante see it first, and then we get Brad, and then like so we have another partner. His name is Lewis. He came in a little later after we started,
Mhm.
but we all saw it and was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And we ended up opening our spot. So we got the keys on the 24th of June. We
Mhm.
opened the doors July 10th. So
Wow.
like very, very short amount of time. And even with it, like we really turned the store into a store in like 9 days. That other
Wow.
time was just trying to figure out what we was gonna do and clean up and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But we turned it into a functioning store within 9 days to be able to have our grand opening.
Yes. See, that's amazing. And, I definitely have to go here because I heard a lot in just, this, how this came about. I heard a lot. I heard, that you were connected with a specific person and you went to that person. So for me, that's divine connections. I believe that
Hmm.
God really, allows us to network. We have to do
Yeah.
networking when we're in business, and He allows us to meet people, and we really may not know what purpose those people will serve at the moment when we meet them, but then it kind of all comes full circle. I want to ask you, like, when it comes to everything that you've done, I know that you were raised in the church. We were
Hmm.
raised in the church together. um how pivotal is your relationship with God in the process of you being an entrepreneur?
It has to be everything. I think with it, your relationship with God, and this is, I would say, this could be specific to myself.
Hmm.
You have to have a unrelenting like willingness to follow what He wants you to do and
Yeah.
the path that He's put you on.
Hmm.
A lot of times the path may not be one that you could have thought of for yourself,
Hmm.
or it could not have necessarily looked the way that it's going. But I think with it, like it's divine intervention when it comes to everything that I have done thus far.
Hmm.
Like even taking it to GQ or like before a few years ago, I had a screen print business
Hmm.
and was able to do some stuff for a year. I had a spot on 10th Street. And then just like again, like networking and the different people that are coming into my life. I think it is nothing but God. These aren't things that I could have done on my own.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think with it, like now, like really listening to the intuition that I have when it comes to stuff, because a lot of times it's not my voice, that's his, and he's
Yeah.
trying to be able to tell me where to go. And a lot of times I don't want to be the person that has to get like slapped down for me to be
There
able to
you
start
go.
listening. Uh, I mean, because it like even being an entrepreneur, you get in those times where like things aren't going as well or they're not going the way that you think or the way that you want them to go.
Hmm.
And I think when it comes to like myself, like my faith keeps me grounded within that, And then I mean, I got grandma, I got mom, I got everybody,
Yeah, you got
praying for
prayer
me and
warriors
stuff,
on deck. They
you
on
know.
deck all the time.
So I think those things are very important when it comes to like going into like this realm of business because it is something different. Like you don't get a guaranteed paycheck every time.
Right.
Like I can count on maybe like one or two hands how many times I've had to be able to pay myself.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of different like nuances. Like people like, oh, you got a store, you got this, you got that. Like I got it, but you don't know the nuances of the in and outs to like
Absolutely.
how things run. Because it takes money to make money.
Right. That's it right there. Now I know. Let's talk about the GQ because you started. Way. I don't even. How many years ago was that when you did Crowned?
Crowned would be like so. I started Crowned in 2012. Yeah, so
Okay.
2012. Yeah, so that was actually my second baby,
Uh
but it
huh.
was my first one where I started to be able to get a little bit of recognition.
Got you, got you. So I noticed that you had those were the features in the GQ magazine, where you
Hmm.
had the bracelets with Crown.
Yeah.
How did that like how did you get your merchandise and your items in the GQ magazine?
You know what? I think I'm just I'm blessed. I think I'm highly favored when it comes to stuff. I get stumbled upon or I stumble upon different opportunities and um, just kind of like trying to get out of my own way. I just end up doing it.
Yeah.
Um, like again, a GQ magazine comes to you and like, hey, we want to put your stuff in these issues, this, and this.
Mhm.
First of all, I had stuff,
Yeah.
but like I didn't have a lot of stuff, right? Because
Right.
I'm making every piece as people order them. Everything is handmade, made to order.
Hmm.
But also, I didn't know a lot of people that took product photography. Like I know people that do photography, like people and things
Yeah.
like that, but I didn't know anyone that did product photography.
Yeah.
So I had to teach myself how to do that. I had to teach myself how to be able to edit the photos so that they look good in a magazine, things like that.
Hmm.
But it really is just like one day I woke up and I had an email from GQ magazine from the
Wow.
British edition, and they're like, "Hey, we want to put your stuff in here." And I think at that time it was myself and another guy. I think his brand was called Boy Beads. I'm
Hmm.
not sure if he's still doing it now, but I know like on the internet, like my brand and his brand were like two of the top ones doing like beaded bracelets,
Hmm.
but because we were doing things with like actual like semi-precious stones rather than
Right.
it just being like the glass or the plastic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like even now, like I'm wearing one right now. This one is made out of shell,
Yeah.
right? So making it like and trying to elevate the brand was one of the things that I focused on the most. Like I'm not using cheap materials. I don't care how much it costs. If it costs me $40 to make, then I got to sell it for 80.
There
Like
you go. Yeah.
and it's been a it was even that was a journey because before I was pricing myself out. Like I was selling
Yeah.
my stuff for like 40, $50, and I had someone like do an appraisal on one of my bracelets. They're
Hmm.
like, this bracelet is at least $250 with
Yeah.
just the materials that I have in it, you know. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of just like work and just like trial and error, but it was cool. That was actually one of the funnest brands I think I've had to be able to do because it was small, it was intimate.
Hmm.
Like I was doing all the stuff myself.
Right.
Um, Now it's a little bit more of a monster, but
I
I
got
like it.
you. I
Yeah.
love that because it just shows elevation. We start and we're the ones that are packaging, we're the ones that shipping, we're the
Hmm.
ones that's making, we're doing all the work.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely you start to understand, like you said, when you got the GQ, you like, yeah, I got product, but I ain't got product like that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So that was real good. Hey, what's up, Kane Cook? I got my cousin in the building. My mom is in the building. Hey, mom, thank you for
What's up,
joining.
y'all? Love
Um,
y'all.
so let's talk about, like you just said too, when it comes to, just kind of like underpricing yourself. I know as far as
Hmm.
entrepreneurs, we're so like, we learn by trial and error, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about a time where you like, other than the pricing situation, where had to learn by trial and error in this entrepreneur life that you're in.
Um, I would say I think I have a few different instances. Like even when I had my screen print company,
Hmm.
um, a lot of times when it comes to me doing screen printing for people, it costs a little bit more
Right.
because I'm one person,
Yeah.
right? You People will give me a quote from a company across town and be like, well, they can do it for this. I'm like, well, they also have a 20 arm automatic doing this with 15
Yeah.
employees or this and this, and they can get it done in a week. That's fine. I can't do that. If you're
Yeah.
gonna go with me, you got to pay this, you know.
Right.
So when it came to that, I've had to kind of like really learn how to do price structuring, and that's even the thing. While we're here in this store, we kind of were pricing ourselves out before, like
Yeah.
now I can sell a hoodie for $65 and I feel bad about it. Before I used to feel bad because I didn't necessarily see the value in the things that I was doing or the things that I was making, right?
Right.
Or even a t-shirt that is, say you charging $40 for a t-shirt. It's not really like the charging, but you have to think about the work that goes into that t-shirt,
Facts.
the
Yeah.
sourcing of the t-shirt, the decoration of the t-shirt. Heck, if you got to fold, steam, tag the t-shirt, whatever, all of these things that are not necessarily just like small little things. These things take time, and that's
Hmm.
the thing. Once I figured out that like and made that switch of my time versus the amount of work that I had to do, I
Hmm.
think that's where like the pricing out or like feeling like I'm charging too much or and things like that kind of like ran out.
Yeah.
And the world we live in right now, people buy $500 shoes. Heck, we sell $400 pairs of shoes here, and
Facts.
they buy it, or like they'll buy things from other brands that are say more established
Hmm.
for 500, $600, whatever. Right? I think my brand and any of the brands I've done are on the same caliber as any of these other ones. It's just not well known yet, you know. So
Gotcha.
with it, I want to be able to prepare myself now so when it does take off, that I'm already in the right space rather than it being like, now I gotta up my prices and now your fan base is mad because like
Yeah,
now your stuff too expensive, right?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's key right there. Just understanding the value, even when it comes to like, you know, when I took a position as a coach, and I had to say to myself, like, yo, I could do this job and I can do this job very, very well. So I
Hmm.
had to, level up my price structure and what I was asking for
Yeah.
in doing the job, because it takes a lot, it takes a lot out of you. So I love that about entrepreneurs, just knowing, you got to believe in your brand, you got to believe in the work that you're putting out. And when it comes to your price is firm. It is what it is, and
Especially if you have put in the time. It's just like if you go to a doctor.
yeah.
If the doctor has put in so many hours, so many years, this, and this to become a perfect surgeon or somebody that can be able to do this or do that, you don't
Mm-hmm.
try to shortchange the doctor. It's the
Facts.
same thing. Like this is a craft that you're learning. I don't care if it's communication,
Yeah.
like you're on a podcast, or if it's even personal training, because that's another thing that I did before, like getting into this. That was like my day to day was personal
Uh-huh.
training, and the company that I was at kind of made me get out of that. Like, I was charging like, $40, $50 here and there. I went to this one company and they was like, nah, we charge 130. You got
Yeah.
to sell 130. So like I had to learn, not so much that it's just about the number, but the amount of work that I was putting in. I had so many different certifications, so many hours learning this and that about the body. Like
Hmm.
I feel like I deserve that.
Absolutely. Yep.
So when it comes to that, if you put in the work for it, you should be able to reap the benefits for the work that you put in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now I know that you have two beautiful little girls and you have a beautiful wife. What's the inspiration? What do you use to inspire yourself in making sure that you balance, your work and your family, and making sure that you're balancing? Because I know as entrepreneurs we put in work.
Yeah.
Work. What's the balancing act of Mr. DK?
I think the balancing act right now is just to have good support within, just like even if it's outside of say myself, Nicole. Um, it is it's being able to have the support, like, so like of my family, her family,
Mhm.
being able to allow us to do stuff, because like now she's an entrepreneur herself, so
Yes.
time is very limited when it comes to stuff, but we also want to make sure that we have enough time for the girls and stuff. But I think the biggest portion for me is just like I'm legacy building right now. I want
Mhm.
to make it so that like my nephew is he 15? I think he might be 15. He driving or whatever now,
Yeah.
right? Um, but like I want to make it so that like when he comes to having a summer job, he don't have
Mhm.
to work for nobody else. He can come work for me and learn a skill, and then eventually, if he wants to do something later on within the company that I'm
Mhm.
building, he can be able to do that, right? The
Absolutely.
same thing for my girls when it comes to, if they want to go to college, they can go to college. But if they want to be able to learn, say, the family business, they could be able to learn the family business, engulf themselves within this, and then be
Yes.
able to go from there. Because to me, I've done education. I'm a big proponent of educations, not so
Yeah.
much of just like going to school and things like that. Because a lot of
Mhm.
times people go to school, they trick off a little bit, and then they don't never do anything with the degree that they get or the education that they've gotten there, right? So I
Facts.
think with it, if you're going for specific reasons, for a very specific or unique reason, I think that that's great. But networking, being able to learn how to be able to create relationships and things like that, I think are the most important, and that's where I
Mhm.
want to be able to expose my children to when it comes to just like life in general.
That's amazing. And yes, today is Nicole's birthday. Happy birthday, Nicole.
Yeah,
Happy
it is.
birthday,
Happy
Queen.
birthday.
I absolutely adore her. I can't wait to I'm gonna be with her in June. I can't wait.
Hmm.
um, but I do want to find, like, tell us who your inspiration is. Like, who inspires DK?
Um, I would say I've got a small list. So like with it, grandmother, grandfather,
Mhm.
both of them are like just like head of the family, and
Mhm.
I think with it they sacrificed a lot to be able to even just put myself in this position.
Mhm.
So them, my mother. My mother is one of
Absolutely.
the hardest working people that I have ever known, other than like my grandparents. But like,
Yes.
my mom is like, y'all remember Hey Mine off of In Living Color?
Uh-huh.
He's like,
Yeah.
I've only got 2 jobs. I got 15 jobs. I'm just the fire marshal, the policeman, the ambulance. Like,
Yes.
like she's always been that person. She's always been on the move. She has given me the drive to always like finish. Always keep going. Always be able to
Mhm.
do it. I don't care how tired you are. Like if you got a goal, or if you have something that you need to do, or if you need to take care, be the person that provides.
Yeah.
That you need to be able to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
My uncle Billy would be the next person from that.
Mhm.
When it comes to entrepreneurship, because
Absolutely.
like, and the thing, I'm gonna just probably name my family, right?
Absolutely.
But like entrepreneurship, because he started this off, and I believe in like 2006 when he started his cigar brand.
Yeah.
And like I've learned a lot from him, like a lot of like do's and do's and don'ts when it comes to like business, or just like building a brand, being creative, giving yourself time,
Yeah.
self-reflection, things like that. But he would definitely be one of my top influences. And then again, Daryl. So again, I'm naming like my little
The-
family, right?
Absolutely.
Um, Even within it, like Daryl, when it comes to like his faith, like he's like very strong within his faith. So like being able to like get little tidbits of everybody to be able
Yeah.
to kind of like create what I'm doing now is big.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, so I mean that's really like a lot of my inspiration. I've got like those like industry ones, like I
Yeah.
mean Virgil was everybody's, but
Everybody's,
like
wasn't he?
I'm a big fan of Bobby Hundreds. He started a brand called the Hundreds out in California. He's
Yes.
people won't necessarily say he's like a streetwear pioneer, but like for the West Coast, he
Hmm.
was like a streetwear pioneer. Damon John, Fubu, uh, uh, who else? I don't know. It's a bunch of them. It's just like I don't necessarily look up to those individuals like really really high,
Right.
because
Right.
like I want to be one of those. I want to be like at the same caliber as them. So like
Absolutely.
I'm influenced a little bit about them. I like their journey. It's a good story, but like I want to be able to tell mine as well.
Absolutely. And that's what I love. Just, a lot of times, like, I love watching interviews. I love to hear people's story because you can learn so much more from people by just
Hmm.
listening to, how they got started and how they did what they did. It makes a lot of difference to you,
Yeah.
not just looking at what they're doing. You actually understand their story and their grind. Um, so like I know for a lot of time, like right now, we're dealing with a lot in this world. Our young people are, we got a lot going on with our young people.
Hmm.
If there's something that you could let a young person know to encourage them, someone that may be going down the wrong path, or that may have made some not so great choices,
Hmm.
what are some of the things that you would say to encourage our young people in today's society?
I think like just in general, I would say my biggest piece of advice would be that there's always more. I
Mhm.
think what we do, we are very small-minded, or very like narrow-minded.
Yeah.
A lot of times we have those blinders on, and we can't see what's outside of the neighborhood we grew up in, or the street we grew up on, the friends that we hung out with growing up, or doing the different things that might have gotten us in trouble when we were younger.
Yeah.
Um, I think with it, by being able to broaden your horizons a little bit, traveling every so often. Like I had never really traveled other than like sports, but even
Right.
within that, I was still able to make a lot of connections.
Hmm.
But that was because like I didn't just want to stop at high school. I wanted to continue to play on like the collegiate level. I wanted to play professional. I wanted to do these different things. So I worked it really as hard as I could to be able to get to those different levels.
Hmm.
That portion, or even just traveling outside of where you're from right now. I don't have to be you go into different countries and things like that right now, even though that to me that would be something that would be good as well,
Right.
because when you go to a different place, people interact differently,
They do.
right? People
Hmm.
treat you differently.
Yeah.
The it heck the air tastes different, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that don't corner yourself into just being where you are right now, because there's always more if
Yeah.
you just put in the work to be able to go get it.
That's dope. That's dope. And then that's for a lot of the youngsters, like in our town where we're from. I've always
Hmm.
been able to let them know, like, hey, get out of Waukegan, get out of North Chicago. I
Hmm.
don't care if you're going to Kenosha. You go to Kenosha and see what's up there. Go to
Yeah.
Chicago, see what's out there. Because once you start to branch out just a little bit, it gives you that feel where you want to see more. You want to do
Yeah.
more. You want to try to get out a lot more. And I think that's what we need. A lot of people have a lot of negative things,
Hmm.
to say about young people. I truly believe, our young people right now are super duper innovative, super creative.
It's you just think about if we had the resources that these kids have right now. Like right now, I'm talking to you on my phone, which is
Yeah,
basically a computer. Like
fact.
I started off doing so much stuff just from my phone.
Yeah,
Like they have resources to everything. You could go on YouTube, you could Google everything. We didn't have that stuff growing up. So
yeah,
like when it comes to having the resources to be
mhm,
able to go to do these different things,
yeah,
I think that they have to use that to their advantage, right? You could
yeah.
be able to make $1 million on your cell phone.
On your phone, on
Yeah,
your
on your
phone.
cell phone.
And that's crazy that you say that, because I was talking to somebody. I work for Youth Build, which is a construction based, you
Hmm.
know, career readiness program. And I had to keep it a buck. I said, listen, would you want to go do construction outside in the cold, in the sun for 12 hours a day, when you can have your phone and you can sell some items and you can make money from your phone? We
Hmm.
have to start looking at, like you said, the resources that these young people have that they're using. We have young people that's making more than all of us put
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
you
I
know
mean, YouTube is a job now.
Facts.
Like YouTube didn't exist prior to like 2006. So like
Right.
even with it, like within the innovation, figuring out where you fit. And I think that's like even with us with this pop-up. So with it, we're gonna get ready to move our store. So we're gonna stay in this mall, but we're moving our
Okay.
store upstairs. And
Okay.
like even now, we won't be a pop-up anymore. We'll actually be a standing store inside of the mall, right? Because
Amazing.
we could have stopped at just doing the um the pop up. It could have
Right.
been however many months. It was like, oh, we're gonna do it for 3 months. All right,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna do it for 6 months. All right. We're gonna do it for 9 months. And now we've got the opportunity. We'll be here. We'll be a staple store in the mall.
That's amazing.
So it's like, don't do those things that are gonna limit you. And I think a lot of times we get in our way and we don't put like we put that short term kind of goal or short term mindset onto
Mhm.
things to where if you just look at it for the long run or just even a little further than what you would before, you'd be able to go a lot further.
Absolutely. I love that. Congratulations on that, because that's big. That's huge.
Oh
Just
yeah,
to make
thank you.
sure that y'all got the actual store, and it's popping right now. So I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you for that.
Yeah, no, it's been a great experience. It's allowed us to be able to do a lot of like work with other local artists. So if that's like an actual artist, people that paint,
Yeah.
other people that have clothing lines, we actually have programs and things like that in place that if you have a brand, we could be able to bring you in. Like we vet you, of course, but we'd be able to bring you in. We do pop-ups, we do all that types of stuff, and we'll start doing a lot of that stuff again once we move.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just been one of those experiences where like when people come in, they're like, "Oh, so where's this stuff from?" I'm like, "Oh, well, all of this stuff is from either Lake County or parts of Chicago."
Yeah.
Like so everything in this store comes from North Chicago, comes from Waukegan, comes from Zion, Gurnee, right? It's all of these different places that say combined up to make the town or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like it's like I said, it's a lot of talent out here, and people just need an outlet or a resource to be able to be seen. So that's where I'm trying to go with this.
Absolutely. That is the most amazing thing. So what's next, DK? What's next besides you moving into, the new store? Anything else coming up? Any, new lines, anything coming up for you?
So now that I'm really like focusing on the Suburban Kid brand,
Mhm.
I'm so right now I've kind of just gotten my footing, so I know what like my basic tee, my hoodie, and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
So every week we try to release something, and this is just in the store, but I'm trying to keep it up to where every week I'm releasing something, so it's like limited releases
Yeah.
of something. But I'm also trying to be able to build my content, right?
Mhm.
So I won't necessarily be in front of a camera like this talking all the time or
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
but being able to build the content because like we're going to be doing workshops here, we're going to be doing events and things like that here. So building up that content for the store, but also doing that same thing on the back end for my brand. Because I think with it, I got something special because
Mhm.
I've never seen something catch on so fast, like and me actually um, like witness it. Like
Yeah,
this is like it's caught on so fast to where like if I do crew necks now, it within like 2 or 3 days, maybe I have one left,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's caught on, and I think I got something. So I really need to be able to take this time to like really nurture it and be able to really get it out there. Because I mean, if you ask me, my brand is the same or is as just as good as like a Supreme or Off White, any of that stuff. It's just very young.
Yeah, facts. It's a niche, like for real.
Hmm.
Like you definitely got something with that one
Yeah,
because
I appreciate that.
the fact that you have the saying on it
Hmm.
that catches just because, like I said, we've all experienced the
Exactly.
fact that we're from the suburbs, we're not from the city,
Exactly.
so you hit hard with that, cuz I'm proud of
Hmm.
you. Just man, make sure that everybody knows where to follow you. If y'all see, his hashtags are down at the bottom. Please go make sure that you visit the store. Make sure if you're in Lake County that you visit the store. Make sure that you can go online. You could also go on Instagram and you can shop.
Hmm.
Please support. Darnell is doing some awesome things. Worthy of the support. Very, very worthy of the support.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
so please make sure that y'all check them out. Anything else you want to let the guests know or the listeners know?
I would say just if you guys are in town or if you guys are close, please come support the store. We got a lot of dope brands in here, like myself with Suburban Kid. You got a Fresh Culture with Dante Brooks. You got Lejour with Brad Smith, and then you got Story Studios with Lewis. So we really want to be able to try to really get our stuff out there, and it's dope stuff. Like that's
Yeah,
the thing. Like you don't people won't come in here and you find something whack. That's not
yeah,
that's not what you're gonna find. So I would say come out support, come experience the store because
yeah.
the one thing about Vernon Hills right now, they have nothing like this
Right.
in Vernon Hills.
Facts.
Um, if you want something like this, you would have to go to the city. So I would say come out here, experience this, chop it up with us a little bit, and be able to come have a good time.
I love it. Tell Dante we finna holler at him too because we need him to
Oh,
come
I
on the show
got you.
too.
I got you. I got
But
you.
I thank you so much. I can't say it too much. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
It's amazing to witness your journey, from starting from where you started to where you are now.
Hmm.
I just ask that God just continue to pour blessings upon you and that he keeps giving you the visions that he's giving you to move forward. I know that he is going to bless you tremendously. Your cup is going to run over.
Thank you.
Um, so again, thank you for joining us. Listen, y'all already know y'all can find me on Instagram at _radical radio. You can also find me on TikTok, Radical Coach L. Y'all already know if you have a business, if you have a brand that you are looking to promote, please holler at me. We would love to promote your brand. And also, if you're looking to get the word out about your business or a service that you offer, please hit us up at www.radicalradio2019@gmail.com. And we would love to have you on the show. As always, y'all already know what it is. Be you, be free, and always stay radical. We will see you guys next Monday. Thank you for joining us again.
No problem at all. See you soon.
Love.
Hey dreamers, my name is Maxi, owner of Elnor Maxwell. We're a company that specializes in show production, virtual assistants, and more. Recently, I have published 2 books. My first book, All My Broken Crayons Still Color, is a daily affirmation book and a journal. My second book, Love You More, Grieving Isn't Easy and Healing Hurts, is a book about the 5 stages of grief and how you can start your process of healing from grief. Both of my books are now available on Amazon. So, let's be motivated, let's be encouraged, let's start the process of healing, and let's continue to glow through whatever it is we're going through.
That's dope.